Okay, and we are live. Hi, this is Erin Morgan. I am the editor-in-chief of Eye Care Business Magazine, and I am excited to be here today with Dr. Lena Walker. Lena is an optometrist, and she owns two practices just outside of Portland. It's Oregon Family Vision. Did I get that correct?
Family Vision of Oregon.
Sorry, Family Vision of Oregon. And you have two locations, and they're in Scappoose and St. Helens. Is that
That's
correct?
right. That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking us on the tour as you reopened this week, correct? Did you just open on Monday?
We opened a week ago, so this will
Okay.
be the end of our second week being open.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great because you've got 2 weeks now almost under your belt.
Yes, we're so happy.
I bet.
It's been wonderful.
That's fantastic. I bet it's good to be back up and open. And so I want to just tell our viewers that are here, feel free to type any comments, questions that you have for Lena as we go through the tour today. Just please type them into your comment section. Let us know that you're here and tell us your name and what your practice is or business that you work at in the optical industry. And we already have Amber Gotti Dunn. She says, yay, go Lena Walker.
Oh, hi, Amber.
So thanks for joining us, Amber. And thanks for joining us, Lena. And Lena, also, I just wanted to tell everybody that you write a fantastic column for Eye Care Business couple times a year. And Lena is also can you tell us about your KonMari business?
Oh, yes. So I'm a certified KonMari consultant. So I trained with Marie Kondo and her team to learn how to go into people's homes and help them tidy their space. And now she's expanded to also into workplaces. So as people get back into their offices, she released a book about how to tidy your workspace and your work life.
That's great, and thank you. I know you've been writing some great articles on that for us, and we're excited to see your clean and tidy space. It looks very nice and behind you there.
Oh,
so
yes,
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, I'll let you take it away.
So we renovated this space a few years ago, and we think it came out great. It seems really simple and easy to take care of. What we first do when patients arrive is we keep the doors locked right now, and so our staff asks that the patient calls as soon as they arrive and pull into one of our parking spaces, and then one of our staff members will take any paperwork that still needs to be filled out to the car, take their temperature, ask them the COVID-related questions, and then go and get them again when it's time to start the examinations. So I'll have one of my team members go out and demonstrate how we do that. I can show you the kinds of signs that we have outside.
Oh, cool. That'd be great to see.
Yeah. Let me flip this around.
Awesome. Hi.
So there's Lena. So we unlock the door, and she goes out to the car. That's our office manager. She's demonstrating for us.
Thanks to them. Oh, great.
Hands her the paperwork. And yeah, and so this is the front of our office. We have a couple signs that shows where to park. They're very large, so you can't miss them.
Definitely.
And then as we walk back in, I can show you where we take them after that.
Great.
So they're walking in. We still have our waiting room area, but really no one's sitting there anymore because we take them immediately to the pretest area. They don't even typically stop at the front desk here to see Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Oh, that's great. I love this pen setup. Oh, I think we lost your audio a little bit. Lena, I think we just lost your audio.
And then
there we go.
When it's time to pretest, then we seat the patients here. And we have, all the typical things. We have our fundus cameras and autorefractors, etc. Um,
What
and
is your
so
cleaning
after
protocol
every
for,
single patient, the staff will go in there and clean it with either disinfecting wipes, or some surfaces are okay to use the Clorox bleach spray. Sometimes if it has fabric, we're having to use the Lysol spray. Um, we've found out different products work best in certain areas. For instance, once we get into the exam room, a lot of the Clorox wipes were leaving heavy residue on the equipment, so we
oh,
switched
interesting.
to either an alcohol spray or hydrogen peroxide spray to use on things. So we'll
Great.
use we'll use alcohol on the slit lamp shield, and clean off every surface every time. So we'll clean off even the doctor's chair and the keyboard. Everything gets wiped down after every patient.
That's
Door
great.
handles as well. Let's see here. Do you have any questions about what we do in the exam room, Erin? Is it
Yeah, so I'm curious because I kind of saw some folks asking
I
this
think I
question.
lost
Lost audio.
audio on you.
Let me try it again. Can you hear me now?
For some reason, I can't hear you right now, Erin.
Huh. Let me try something else. Hold on 1 minute. I know I lost you for a minute too, so we might have a weird connection. Can you hear me
Hold on a
now?
second.
How about
Yeah, I
now?
don't think I'm able to hear you.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm going to try to take myself
Missing
out
out
of.
on your
Okay.
speaking, Erin.
Okay. How about that? Can
Oh,
you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I
Fantastic.
rebooted.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good.
That always
So
works.
so once we're done in the exam room, then we bring the patients out to our optical gallery area, which I'll show you again. Um, and so we had to take out some chairs to increase the distance. We used to have, another chair here, another bar stool there. Um,
Right.
but once we do the handoff to the opticians, we explain to them what we recommended to the patients. And say hi, Tori. There's
Hi,
Tori.
Tori.
Uh, so, so Tori, maybe you can explain to them what you tell the patients once we do the handoff.
Yeah, so once the doctor brings the patient out here, they're handed one of our trays and shown, to the frames here. And if they try anything on, we've asked that they put it in the tray, and then we take them all to disinfect in the lab before we put them back out on the floor. And then once they've decided on a frame for measurements, we take our spectangle, little eye stick, and we attach it to the frame and take a photo with the iPad so that we can still
Oh,
keep social distancing.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you're actually doing the kind of dispensing there with the plexiglass shield, but just with them trying things on and sit it. So that's kind of your new dispensing table, normal.
Yeah. No, we've moved our payment options out here so that we're not getting back and forth, that kind of thing. They're just swiping their own cards. And
that's perfect. And so how are you guys disinfecting the frames? What are you using to do the disinfection?
So let me go over here. So if you could hand me that bottle, thank you. So we created a 50-50 solution of hydrogen peroxide, which is what we found the frame manufacturers were recommending that we use. So as soon as they receive a tray of frames that the patient tried on or touched, then they'll spray it down in the back area here and let it sit for about 5 minutes or so, and then wipe off the solution. And then they'll immediately put the frames back on the board.
That's great. So, and that works for metal and acetate.
Right.
Great.
Because apparently even the Clorox wipes have products in them that could damage the frames, so we chose not to use that as an option. we didn't think bleach would be great either. We don't have a UV sterilizer here, but I think from what we found out from the frame manufacturers, what we're doing is the appropriate way to go.
That's great. Well, as long
As
as,
long
yeah,
as
they're telling you that is their good protocol, that's perfect.
yes, yes, and so I mean, the only issue we've run into so far is actually getting the cleaning supplies. So, finding hydrogen peroxide and bleach spray and Clorox wipes for certain products has been very challenging. Um, Sometimes my staff will even stop off at the store before they come to work, like they did this morning. And if they see some products that we're in need of, they'll buy them and I'll repay them. I'll reimburse them because
Right. It's
things
so hit or
online are,
miss.
they're out of stock or they're very expensive.
It's so true and impossible to get online for sure
Yes.
as
Yes.
well. And what about your PPE? Have you had any trouble getting that or any kind of your breath shields or the plexiglass or that's been easier?
Well, the breast shields, Zeiss sent us ours for the slit lamps, and
That's
then
great.
the ones that we have on the counters, I made from products I found at Home Depot. So I bought the plexiglass and then used shelf brackets to make
Oh,
the
perfect.
legs on them.
Wow.
So I didn't even have to drill them. I just used really
What,
strong mounting tape to mount the shelf brackets to the plexi.
wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What a good idea. And then what about your dispensing table? Does that have the same plexi setup?
Yes. Um, so that's there, and then the front desk has the same.
Okay. Oh, that
You know,
is okay.
it's kind of a trial and error. In our other office, which is somewhat smaller, we decided that just today actually that the staff would feel more comfortable with an even larger plexi. So we're gonna have that put in because the quarters are a little bit tighter there.
Sure, that makes sense, and it's harder to distance.
Yeah, and for me, you know, the PPE issues, the whether or not to wear scrubs, the how do we set up our office, um, all of those things I take cues from my staff because they're having to work with me and the patients, and I want their comfort level to be just as high as mine. And
Sure.
so as a team, we're trying to work through each issue as it comes up.
Definitely, that
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. So, and with your PPE, like masks and things like that, have you had any trouble getting that kind of stuff?
Well, at first we did, and I really had to rely on some friends who were dentists to help us get just basic surgical masks.
Right.
So, but then as time went on, we could find these. We just ordered more of these similar ones from our contact lens supplier from WVA,
That's
and
great.
we got them overnight.
Wow.
And then we have probably 2,000 regular surgical masks to provide to patients if they don't come in wearing one.
Wearing one.
Well,
So
we just give it to them.
are you asking them to wear when they come in?
Yes. So
Yes.
when they schedule an appointment, our front desk staff will ask them the COVID questions on the phone, go over any demographic information on the phone, so less time has to be spent out in their car. Um, and they're also asked to wear a face mask. Some of them forget or they might not have one, and so we provide it for them. We don't charge them or anything. We just give it to them because
That's
we now have
fantastic.
a lot of them.
Yes, and I've seen, different, yeah, very like, because I think a lot of folks couldn't get them and then they were charging for them. And
Yes.
that's great to be able to give them to them if they need them, especially someone that may not, an older person or someone that may not have access to get on and or go out and get something like that. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, or sometimes the kids ones are too loose. They don't fit very well, so we fashion them so they fit a little bit better.
That's
Um,
good.
but we've been so blessed. We're so happy that once we opened our doors again for routine care, that people were so anxious to come in and see us.
That's
So
great to hear. So
yeah,
what's your scheduling? Do you have kind of a certain one person every hour or what's your scheduling protocol?
we're in In this office, we're seeing about one every 40 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
Um, Last week and this week, and we've really gotten a groove to it all. And so by next week, I think we can go to a slightly faster schedule, probably one every half an hour, but there's no double bookings. And, to allow for cleaning of the rooms, you just can't have too many people in the
Right.
office anymore. And so we have to schedule things like even shopping for eyewear. We try to schedule a time with the opticians.
Sure, that makes sense. What are your current hours that you're open?
We're open our normal schedule now. So
Okay.
typically 8:30 to 5:30. We have one late night until 7 in each office. We aren't open on the weekends, but I am working more days than I used to, just to kind of make up and make up for the lost time and lost revenue from the last 6 weeks.
No doubt. No doubt. Everybody's
I
going to
know.
be doing that.
I know. It's okay though. I don't mind working more. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it feels good to be back and at it.
Yes.
A question for you with your patients that you are seeing. Are you seeing them make purchases? Are people buying eyewear? Are they, getting premium products? Are people more price conscious? Have you noticed anything since you've been open for 2 weeks?
No, actually, I was shocked because my office manager sent me a photo yesterday of our order cabinet, and it's completely full. And
Wow.
so people are actually purchasing a lot with us, and I'm so appreciative. A lot of them had to be rescheduled for their exams 2 or 3 times because of
Sure.
all the changes going on, and so they're happy to support us. I think being in a small town as well is helpful because this practice has been here for many generations now.
Right. So
Yeah.
people are, very tied to the practice.
We're very thankful for them coming in and shopping with us and buying their eyewear and their contact lenses and
That's
continuing
so
to
great.
see us for care.
I love it. So I'm just going to give a shout out to a couple of folks that are here. We have a question as well, and then I have one more question for you.
Okay.
We also have, so Amber says that she's an optometrist in Portland and she owns Gotti Vision, if I said that correctly.
Yes.
And so you guys must know each other from the area.
Yes.
And then we have Jane Summers. She says, I'm very much, this was back in the beginning. I'm looking forward to hear what Lena has to say. And Marisol Rodriguez is here. And she says, our office has been doing the same. I think when you were showing kind of your dispensing process.
Yes.
And she asked a question. Well, she said, beautiful gallery. And she said to you, did they feel comfortable doing so? And I think, Marisol, if I'm correct, if that was a point on when you had the you were showing the plexiglass with the dispensing. So how are the customers responding to that? Do they feel grateful to have that barrier? Do they feel, does it feel odd to folks?
They haven't complained about it, but I think they know that we're taking extra precautions, and they know that even when they make their phone call to schedule their appointment. So there hasn't been any adversity to that. Actually, I had several patients this week thank us for being open and thank us for taking them in for their exam. They were so happy.
That's great.
Yeah, every once in a while we get someone who doesn't want to wear a mask for some reason. And we try to be very understanding and just explain to them that, it's okay that you don't want to wear a mask, but for our safety and the safety of our, the other patients, we recommend that you come in June sometime for your exam.
Right.
And hopefully, some of those restrictions would be lifted. We
Right.
just don't know.
That's
But we try to put it to them that way because it's, I suppose it's their right not to wear a mask, but it's our preference to protect ourselves and our other patients.
Definitely. Yes. And everybody wants to stay safe for sure.
Yes.
And Marisol also mentioned they've been doing for their disinfection warm soapy water. We've heard a lot of different things, even Sheena Taff, who was on our panel that you were on, Lena, she was saying she's using the ultrasonic cleaner. It takes longer because it has to be in there for a long time. And then Jim, I know he mentioned on the panel that he's using one of those massive frame wash machines that you always see at Vision Expo. And we have a picture now of him. We're going to run it in the next issue of Jim with his big frame washing machine. So everything just goes, right in there. And
I think Amber Getty Dunn, who's on the call, I think she has one of those too. I think she might be the person in Portland. I don't know how long it takes to process through that, but when I was at Expo, I think it takes at least a minute to do one frame. So, I mean, if it's efficient for them, and
exactly, it's inconvenient. So, let's see, we have Valerie Jerome. She says, what is your protocol for taking Optos images? How are you sanitizing the device?
Oh, just the Optos images are on our California. They sanitize it like they would everything else with alcohol wipes or with Clorox wipes, depending on what we have on hand.
Sure.
So.
Okay, that makes sense. And I did one of the things when we kind of broke up with our sound, I was going to ask you is, we've had questions about, are you wearing gloves? Are you not wearing gloves? I mean, it's kind of a personal preference. Do you want to wash your hands or, alcohol the gloves? Because a lot of folks were having trouble with their hands getting, cracked and so much. So what are you doing?
So I wash my hands after every patient, but I also glove up too. So in this office, we have a digital refractor, which allows me to be a little more at distance from them, but my hands are still close to them when I'm using the slit lamp and during other times. And so what I'll do is I'll walk into the room. We have a hand sanitizer dispenser on the wall. So I'll use that while I say hello to them. And then I'll immediately put my gloves on. And then when I'm done with that patient, I'll remove the gloves and then throw it away and then wash my hands again. So
gotcha.
We should be pretty well covered. In our other office, we still have a manual 4-opter, so I definitely glove up every single time.
Right. For sure. That makes sense. You can't really be too safe, anyway. It certainly can't hurt.
It can't hurt.
For sure. So, and we also have, I'll just give a quick shout out to Scott Coburn from, I'm definitely not going to pronounce this right. It's Guelph, Gulf and Ontario. And then Marisol also mentioned ultrasonic cleaner can loosen settings. It's a concern with some frames with crystals and different things. And then Amber says, I use the Optic Wash also. It's great. So thank you for all of your feedback, everybody that's watching. And Lena, I cannot thank you enough for joining us and sharing your practice with us. And it's beautiful. I love all the wood and it's very, clean and really, really nice looking. So thank you for sharing that too.
Thank you. Thank you. We love it. We're very happy here.
Looks like a happy place for sure.
Yes.
All right, well, stay safe and thank you for joining us. And we'll be back next week with Sheena Taff is going to share her office tour with us as they're reopening in Vancouver, Canada. So please join us again. Watch on our Facebook page for the teasers for the time and the day on that. So thank you, Lena, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Thanks, Erin. Talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.